You know, I have always loved Excalibur ever since I started playing this game. There's just something about the elegant swooshing sounds from his exalted blade that just gets my dick rock. But sometimes, spamming exalted blade can get very boring and I begin to prolong for something different from him. And one day I had a thought. What if King Arthur pulled out a gun instead of a sword? So in this video, I'll be turning Excalibur into a weapons platform. The first step is to have a good selection of secondaries.
Oh, that's easy. Let me go into my arsenal and see what I have in.
Oh yeah, I don't have that much secondaries. And all of the ones I own fit without having to scroll down. Shit. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Scans indicate our target.
There, now I can actually start working on the build. So in order to turn X-Men into a weapons platform, we'll need a damage buffer ability. And look no further than Rhino's Roar. So let's just slap it on X videos, and you know what? Let's get rid of Exalted Blade. Because why not? Anyways, we're gonna mod for high power strength so that we can get the most out of Roar. I also put growing power in, but you could also use pistol amp or corrosive projection if you want. And for the arcanes, we're using Molt Augmented and Arcane Avenger. By the way, I wouldn't recommend Combat Discipline because Deus Ex Machina is already a very fragile frame, so using Combat Discipline would just make him die faster. If you noticed, I'm using Radiant Finish, you'll see why later. Now with Archon Shards, we're using 3 Tau Forged Topaz Shards for secondary crit chance and 2 Emerald Shards for corrosive stacks. For the Focus School, I'll be using Vazarin for 2 reasons. 1, so that I don't die constantly, and 2, Void Snare, you'll see why later. For the weapons, we'll be using a Corrosive and Heat Cedo as a primer and a Ceramic Dagger for initial combo. Now for secondaries, use whatever you want, I don't think it really matters. Now here's how you'll mod your secondary. The 2 most crucial mods you'll need are Creeping Bullseye and Primed Target Cracker, and an optional Galvanized Shot since we're using the Cedo as a primer. Other than that, you can build your secondary however you want. Now the most crucial and important part of this whole build is Secondary Outburst. At its peak, it'll give 240% secondary crit chance if your melee weapon has a 12x combo multiplier. This plus the 225% crit chance from the 3 Topaz Shards, 200% from Creeping Bullseye, and 45% from Arcane Avenger will give us a whopping 710% modded secondary crit chance. But I do have to say something. Depending on your secondary space critical chance, you may not get consistent red crits, or even any at all, so don't set your expectations too high. So here's how this build works. First, build up your Ceramic Dagger's initial combo and the 225% crit chance from the Topaz Shards by casting Void Snare near a group of enemies. Use the Cedo's Alt Fire to proc Heat, cast Radial Blind to trigger Radiant Finish, and then do a ground finisher on the pile of enemies. Void Snare helps piling up all nearby enemies, making it easier to build up our initial combo. Radiant Finish ensures that all enemies trapped in Void Snare die. And Cedo's Alt Fire will help us build up our secondary crit chance and initial combo. Keep repeating this until your Ceramic Dagger reaches 12x combo and your Topaz Shards reach 225% crit chance. Once the setup is done, trigger Arcane Avenger by taking damage. Use the Cedo's Alt Fire to trigger Growing Power, cast Roar, swap to your secondary to trigger Secondary Outburst, and go to town with it. Now that you have experienced the sheer power of this build, let's try it out in Steel Path. Now, is this build practical? Probably not. Is it fun to use?
Absolutely.
Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you could leave a like and comment so that more people can see it. And if you want to support me in the future, consider subscribing. And with that, thanks for watching.